Welcome to Headphone News, Science and Technology Edition for Monday, April 21st, 2025.
Mongolia's economic boom. Mongolia's economy is experiencing a remarkable boom, with industrial output soaring to nearly 8 trillion Mongolian tugriks, or about $2.21 billion in the first quarter of 2025. This impressive growth is fueled by a significant increase in iron ore and coal production. The mining sector plays a crucial role, accounting for around 90% of the country's exports, including valuable minerals like copper and gold. As global demand for these resources rises, the outlook for Mongolia's industrial landscape remains bright. The Statistics Office sees this trend as a promising sign of the country's potential in the global market. What does this growth mean for Mongolia's future on the world stage?
Egypt opens African Space Agency headquarters. On April 20th, 2025, Egypt celebrated the grand opening of the African Space Agency, or AFSA, in Cairo. This exciting milestone marks a new chapter for collaboration among African nations in space technology. Egyptian Foreign Minister Badr Abdelhadi emphasized that the AFSA embodies the vision of the Africa we want, focusing on economic and social change across the continent. Sharif Sedki, CEO of the Egyptian Space Agency, described the AFSA as a beacon of innovation for African countries. The agency aims to boost Africa's partnerships with international allies, ensuring better access to valuable data from space. Huan Yiheng, co-founder of Minospace, expressed eagerness for potential collaborations with the AFSA. Chosen as a host nation in 2019, Egypt's strategic location and rich history in science and technology make it an ideal home for the AFSA. This establishment is a vital step toward unifying African nations in their quest for advancements in space exploration. What does this mean for Africa's future in the cosmos?
Tragic floods and landslides in Jammu and Kashmir. On April 20th, 2025, Ramban in Jammu and Kashmir, India, faced devastating flash floods and landslides, resulting in the heartbreaking loss of at least 3 lives, including 2 children. Intense rainfall soaked the ground, making the area vulnerable to such disasters. Chief Medical Officer Kamal Zadur reported extensive damage, with many homes washed away. Blocked roads complicated rescue efforts, but nearly 100 people were evacuated to short-term shelters. The local government is assessing the situation and providing help to those affected. This tragedy underscores the urgent need for improved disaster preparedness in at-risk regions.
Health crisis in Byrnihat due to severe air pollution. Byrnihat, a town on the border of Assam and Meghalaya in India, is facing a serious health crisis caused by extreme air pollution. The Swiss group IQAir has named it the world's most polluted metropolitan area, with a staggering PM 2.5 concentration of 128.2 micrograms per cubic meter in 2024, over 25 times the safe level recommended by the World Health Organization. Residents are struggling with alarming health issues, especially respiratory problems and skin rashes. A heartbreaking case is that of 2-year-old Samaya Ansari, who was hospitalized due to breathing difficulties linked to the toxic air. Respiratory infection cases have surged to over 3,600 this year, a significant jump from just over 2,000 in 2022. Local doctors report that nearly all patients are suffering from respiratory issues. The pollution crisis stems from rapid industrial growth, with around 80 industries in the area, many of which are highly polluting. In response, the governments of Assam and Meghalaya are forming a joint committee to tackle this urgent issue. Residents are frustrated as the toxic air not only harms their health, but also damages crops and disrupts daily life. This situation highlights the critical need for effective environmental regulations to protect public health and improve air quality.
Rise in customs violations in South Korea. South Korea's Korea Customs Service has reported a notable increase in customs violations aimed at evading U.S. tariffs. In the first quarter of 2025, nearly 30 billion South Korean won, around $21 million, were linked to mislabeling foreign products, primarily from China, as South Korean exports. A staggering 97% of these violations were associated with shipments destined for the United States. This rise follows a total of 34.8 billion South Korean won in violations recorded for all of 2024, where U.S.-bound shipments accounted for 62%. The surge comes after former U.S. President Donald Trump imposed significant tariffs, including a 25% tax on imports from South Korea, effective March 2025. Among the findings, 3.3 billion South Korean won worth of cathode materials were imported from China and falsely labeled as South Korean. Additionally, 19.3 billion South Korean won worth of security cameras were imported in parts from China and reassembled in South Korea to bypass U.S. restrictions. In response, the Korea Customs Service has launched a special task force to tackle illegal export attempts and protect domestic companies. What does this mean for the future of trade between South Korea and the U.S.?
That is all the news for today. Thank you for listening to today's headphone news. News summary brought to you by AI.